boy, oh boy, am I gonna get dislikes and have people unsubscribe for this video, but then again, I ain't got that much to lose, right? If you check my subs. Currently at a proud number of 127. No K following. So, yeah. Today I will, or tonight, I will touch on a very sensitive subject when it comes to guitar nerds out there and their, beliefs and almost like, I don't know, cult-like obsession with how a guitar should be set up. Most of these things being believed by most people just because, it's been passed on like through generations from the greats, from the greatest players, the greatest techs, luthiers, and whatever. And who the fuck am I to, argue, right? Well, I don't care. I just will. Because common sense and, science, if you will, doesn't give a shit where the advice comes from. And as you should know already, guitars, or let's say the world of guitars and guitarists in general are a very unique species of people, morons, that have all of these, physics, laws of physics defying opinions that last no matter what. So, enough blabber, let's go into the really offensive stuff. So, most of you probably have heard or even believe and have the arguments and proof to back up the fact that a guitar neck has to, in general, no matter if it's electric, acoustic, or classical, or whatever, it has to have not a big front bow, but at least a slight front bow. For those of you who have no idea what I'm talking about, your guitar neck can be either straight or it can have like a back bow. If this is like the straight guitar neck, like I'm doing it right here, parallel to the actual neck. If it goes like this, it curves like this, it's called a back bow because it's arching on its back. And if it's on the other side, if it's like this, it's a front bow. And most people will argue that you absolutely most necessarily need to have some sort of slight front bow for various reasons, and we'll touch on those reasons right now. So you'll probably see when you go to your local guitar store or whatever, when you're looking at a guitar and you're probably interested in buying it or whatever, the local guy at the store, he does this, and then he's like holding the string in place at the first fret and the last fret, and then he's doing this completely moronic test to see the actual relief of the neck, and he's like, yes, it's good because it allows the string to breathe, and the note has to have enough space to resonate and not hit the frets and have a full tone and all that crap. So, with your permission, unless you've already left the chat, sort of speaking, with your permission, I would like to put some sense into you if you're one of the believers that guitars have to have a front bow, or if you're just plain old curious about what I want to say, what I'm trying to convey, and help you guys with. If that's your stance and you have no particular view on this matter, just hear me out. Alright, so again, the main idea behind this stupid myth is that whenever you are plucking a string, It's not amplified. You don't need to hear the string very loudly. It's just for demonstration purpose. So whenever you're plucking a string, if you know anything about the physics of a vibrating string, you know that it sort of wobbles and it has like its peaks and valleys, and it has like a for example, if this is one end of the string and this is the other end of the string, and you're plucking the string, you'll see like on Google, I'll try to post right here something on screen, just so that you have a better understanding of what I'm trying to say. You'll have these patterns, these wave patterns and string oscillation diagrams showing you how a string actually vibrates. And you'll see that it has this weird, lump, and it has like its peaks where it's at its, girthiest, and it has its lows where it's going towards zero, right? So those are the nodes that the standing wave is forming. If you know anything about standing wave, probably you're not interested in this video. Not interested in this video. If you don't know what I'm talking about, stick around. So again, the idea is that whenever you're plucking a string, it has this oscillating pattern, right? So without even science or physics or Google or whatever, you can just go like this, and pluck the string, and you'll see it go like this. It has like a margin in which it's oscillating, in which it's kind of like spinning, right? So it kind of makes sense at first glance for people to say, well, due to this thing, which obviously grows from nothing, where the string crosses the nut, because here the vibration should be theoretically zero. Same thing should be happening here on the saddles. So the idea is that as you go towards the inside of the string, you have this wobbly area that just grows bigger and bigger towards the center, and you need to sort of have enough room for the string to vibrate. Well, first of all, the first moronic point to this idea is the following. You probably know that your action grows linearly from the nut towards the bridge. So you never have like if this is the nut end of the string and this is the saddle end of the string, you never have equal distances here and here, so that you have an equal distance between your frets and the string all throughout the length of the string. This never happens. Why? Because of the pure physics of your guitar that you already probably are familiar with, because you know that the more you're going towards the bridge, the more you need to have sort of like an angle to the string, so that you're able to play without having fret buzz and without touching your frets with your string, right? So you'll always have like this sort of ramp when it comes to the action. So first of all, whenever you take into consideration this ramp effect, when you're saying that you want your neck to have a front bow, it is just unrealistic to think that you can control where this front bow will be, or that you can control the peak of the oscillating string, so that you can correctly adjust your front bow so that it matches this wobble. So that's point number one. Point number two is again similar. So when you have let's see, how should I put it to be a lot more simple? So depending on the construction of your neck and depending on how your manufacturer decided to put the truss rod in, and depending on where the adjustment side of the truss rod is, because you should know that it can be here, it can be here, underneath the pig guard or with a spokes wheel, or Warmoth, has this clever contraption where you have a side adjustment here, whatever. Depending on the construction and the insertion of the truss rod inside your neck, your let's say point of action for the truss rod and therefore your front or back bow will not be the same on all guitars. So you will probably have a front bow that kind of varies. However, the general rule of thumb, if you just want to discard this minute aspect and you don't want to be nitpicking on the whole subject a lot, the idea is, or the general consensus is, that your truss rod is pretty much traversing your entire neck, and therefore, again, pretty much the dead center of your neck should be the place where the actual effect of the truss rod adjustment is at its highest, right? So if you take a look on your neck, depending on how many frets you have, but for example on this particular guitar, which is like a normal standard guitar with 22 frets, it doesn't have 21, it doesn't have 24. Still, if I were to measure like the half of it, I can tell you, like, just judging by pure eye measurement, my middle, the middle of the neck is right here, somewhere around the 7th, 8th fret, somewhere around here. Maybe let's say here. Okay, maybe let's say the 8th fret, something like this, right? So you can probably see something like this on the on the camera. 8th, maybe even 9th fret, but somewhere around here, 8th fret plus or minus 1. So if this is where your truss rod has its highest effect in terms of how it's affecting your neck and your fretboard, because I'm guessing if you're this stubborn about having a front bow or whatever, you should at least know or understand how a truss rod works and how it's pushing against the wood and how it's achieving its fine tuning. So if this is what happens and you have the anchor here, the other end here, and you have like this bar that just bends up or down, creating this front bow or back bow, if this is where most of the turning point for the front bow or back bow will be located, if this is the place, consider what you're saying when you actually say, oh, I'm plucking the string and I'm having like this huge bulge of vibration, like the peak of the standing wave. I have this huge bulge that I want to compensate for, and I want to ensure that my neck has enough relief underneath so that the string can wobble in place without touching the string. Well, if you're just plucking a plain open string, again, it only makes sense that, by your logic, the string actually has its highest peak of vibrating distance, if you can call it like that, just so that you understand, again, in its very middle. And if you know anything about the very middle of the string. The very middle of the string should be, if you have a correctly set up guitar or even correctly constructed guitar, the middle of any open string should always be at precisely the 12th fret. If you don't understand why, I don't want to go into it right now because I've just made this whole video way too long, but hopefully you know that this is your first octave where you're actually splitting that standing wave and you're actually making one bulge and another bulge, right? So again, your highest peak in the wobble that you're trying to avoid for the string will be at the 12th fret. But again, look at where the neck is physically dimensioned. The neck does not share the same length as your string. The neck is much shorter. Therefore, when you pass that rod through the neck, hoping to adjust something, again, that adjustment will have its maximum potency, if you will, right in the middle of the neck. Where's the middle of the neck? We said somewhere around 7th, 8th, 9th fret, whatever. Also depends on how it's inserted and where the anchor points are. But you can already see like a huge discrepancy between what you're trying to do and what you're actually doing. By putting a front bow on your neck, you're actually creating the biggest dip right around this portion, right here. While the dip should have been, in theory, if that's what you're trying to do, because that's your main argument, that you're trying to compensate for this effect, for the wobbling of the string, it should have been here at the 12th fret, right? So there you have one of the biggest problems when it comes to this logic. But the third and most important reason for why this logic doesn't hold up is obviously directly derived from this second point that I just discussed about. Because if you understood what I told you up until this point, you will understand that the actual the maximum effect of the truss rod will always stay in the same place, which is the center of the neck, plus or minus, depending on those factors, but it will always be in the same spot. It does not move left and right. However, at point number 2 earlier, I just talked about the very first situation and the simplest one, which is an open string. Now, I hope by now you're guessing where I'm going with this. What happens when you start moving and you start shortening the actual length of the string? Well, obviously you're completely negating what happens below the fretting finger, so you don't care about this because this should no longer vibrate. In theory, yeah, it has losses, but that's not the main part of the string that you're hearing. The main part of the string that you're always hearing is the one from your fretting finger towards the bridge, right? So unfortunately, while you are playing, you are dynamically changing the true length of the string, like the virtual length of the string. And this is how the actual guitar works. You are dynamically at a very fast pace changing the length of the string, thus producing different vibrations with different frequencies because of the different length of the guitar, because of the string, because you're not changing any other parameter on the string. Like you're not dynamically changing the gauge or the material or whatever. You're just changing the tension, right, and the length. So, having this small recap, imagine what happens when you're playing and you're moving your fingers all over the place. Whenever you are playing a note, like for example, let's say I'm already at the 15th fret. Now, guess what? That troublesome wobble that you so willingly, try to fix by working on with your truss rod, that wobble is again at the middle of the string. My string is now virtually from here to here, so my middle will be, I don't know, somewhere here around the the front pickup, somewhere around there. On the camera it's kind of skewed, but yeah, you get the point, right? Somewhere around here. So you're already outside of the neck. You do not have any control on how you would possibly fix this wobble that is ever changing depending on where you're fretting your notes. You can just not compensate. It's physically impossible to compensate for this dynamic wobble by altering the static fixed bow of your neck. That's just completely stupid. And like I said before, as you can see, the more I go towards the higher frets, the more this is even more ludicrous. But let's say we're in the best scenario for your logic. Let's say we're again back to the open string. Even here, your wobble is already past the action point of your truss rod. So I don't want to make this way too long. I hope that at least you were open-minded enough so that you can consider what I'm saying, and hopefully you followed along with my video and you refrained yourself from punching through your monitor saying bullshit, bullshit, bullshit,
bullshit, bullshit, bullshit, bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. Everything that you ever studied up until this point is complete bullshit, 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 bullshit.
Add all of my reasonings in this video, but yeah, if you guys want me to further dive in to this topic or any other topic, feel free to let me know down into the comment section below. Show me how you felt about this video by liking, unliking, subscribing, unsubscribing, whatever, sending me a comment or request for further explanations, for further videos. If you liked what you saw or what you heard and it made you think and it made you go like, that's some really cool stuff that I never thought about. If that was the case, hopefully just let me know what else I might be able to help you with. If not, feel free, please let me know why I'm wrong in my logic, in my deduction. And yeah, just keep it fun and civilized, and yeah, just someone sneezed in the other room. Bless you! And yeah, that's about it. I've already wasted too much of your time, but hopefully this was an instructional and educational video. So until next time, with you, Dr. M, Mr. M, the Doctor of Love and Guitars. Wish I had a sponsor so that I could probably say this video was sponsored by something. But since I'm a free bird and I have no such thing, I'll just end it on a stupidly boring note as I always do. So, till next time, see you. I hope I see you again and you don't unsubscribe too soon, okay?